If you have a small business and you are thinking of selling it and you've never sold a business before, then one thing I can make a pretty good guess about is that you have no idea what to expect and you have no idea what types of people are out there looking for businesses to buy. There is a website called BizBuySell, and this is the largest online marketplace where businesses are listed. And I believe I read up on it this week. They get 3.5 million visitors per month looking at businesses. So that's a lot of traffic, 3.5 million visitors per month. And I think as of the last time I checked, they had about between 50 and 60,000 businesses listed. So the amount of buyers, the amount of buyer traffic is definitely higher than the amount of businesses listed. So let's talk about the types of buyers that if you do put your business up for sale, based on your type of business, who's going to be attracted to it? And then also based on you as the business owner, who do you want to sell the business to? One of the things that I think is really important, especially if you are a retiring business owner who has owned this business for 30 years or 40 years, you want to take some time to think through who do you want to hand over the keys to? There's nothing nicer than being comfortable with the decision of the price you have accepted, the terms, but then also the people that you're handing over the keys to. And the last thing you want to do is go through a very lengthy process to sell the business and then end up with some sort of seller's remorse. Okay. Let's go through a little bit of an introduction to buyer types. So these are going to be the types of people who will be interested in buying a business. So we have our first-time entrepreneurs. These typically are individuals who will be stepping into business ownership for the first time. They typically have not owned a business before. They have not operated a business before. And they prioritize a stable business with predictable cash flow and a turnkey operation. So they typically will have, as it says here, they will be leaving a corporate job. There's definitely a lot of buyers out there that are looking to leave their corporate professions. So these people typically they'll be unhappy in their work. They'll be burnt out in their work. They find their work a little bit too stressful. They feel like they're just grinding it out for somebody else. And they want to be able to build something of their own, but they're usually in a life cycle stage that they don't necessarily have the time to want to start a business from scratch. And they may be a little bit, not older, but more mature. So they don't really want to take the risk of just starting something and bootstrapping it and getting it off the ground. Next, we have our serial entrepreneurs and portfolio builders. These are seasoned buyers who've owned businesses before, and they're now looking to expand their holdings or diversify. So these people will be drawn to mid-sized businesses with growth potential and undervalued assets. So what does that mean? Okay, so these people may have had a business before. They may have started a business. They may have actually already had an exit. You see this with people that have started a company, raised money, and then sold it. And now because they know that process and they know what it takes to grow a business, they feel very comfortable being able to buy a smaller business and grow it. They will see opportunity in the tech aspect of the business. Typically, if they're looking at a baby boomer business, they kind of see what's missing and what they could very easily bring to the table, such as updating some of the processes and procedures, bringing in digital assets to the business, such as online bookkeeping and putting everything in the cloud, getting it out of spreadsheets. And they will also be interested in digital marketing, which a lot of small businesses that are run by baby boomers that are successful don't really do much marketing. So that's where these serial entrepreneurs, they will see opportunity there and they will often want to scoop up a couple of businesses. So I did work on a deal once where a buyer was looking at the business that I was selling and then also looking at another business in a similar industry and was considering buying them both at the same time. So that wouldn't be uncommon for this type of buyer. Okay, so we've got corporate escapees with capital, ex-executives or high earners cashing out to buy established executives or high earners cashing out to buy established professional services, healthcare, or tech adjacent businesses priced at 1 million to 10 million. Okay, so this would be similar to, they would have a similar mindset to this first-time entrepreneur that may have been coming from a corporate career, but these are going to be higher level executives. So they typically will have a lot of money in a 401k. They can actually use those funds to acquire a business. There are programs in place where they can cash out some of that 401k and they can use that to acquire a business. So instead of just sitting on their retirement funds, they've decided to get those funds to work in a different way for them so that they can build their own business, either buy a business they can grow or build a small or medium-sized portfolio of businesses. And as you can see there, they like professional services, healthcare, or tech adjacent businesses priced 1 million to 5 million. Yes. So if those businesses are going to be priced 1 million to 5 million, I would say for these corporate escapees, they're going to be on the higher end of this 1 to 10 million, because 1 million would be the very low end. If they could get something at a little nudge, to the 5 million range, they would be more comfortable with that because there's probably going to be more room in the cash flow for them, the cash flow of the business, for them to be able to come in and make that purchase. So next we have investors and private equity groups. These are institutional players or wealthy individuals building portfolios targeting cash flow positive businesses in stable sectors with EBITDA margins of 15+%. I did work in what's called the death care industry, specifically in the funeral space. I did work in that space for a couple of years. And this is very popular with investors and private equity groups because they see it as being recession proof. There are a lot of older business owners who need to retire, and they know that they can buy multiple businesses. They can build a portfolio. So within this investor group, you will also see family offices. So, these are groups, investors that have capital that they need to deploy. They need to get it working, and they want to put it in businesses that are cash flow positive, stable, and in growing sectors. So they like healthcare, they like death care. They did like death care. I dealt with a lot of private equity groups and a lot of family offices during that time. So we have lifestyle buyers next. These are people buying for passion or freedom, retirees, couples, or remote workers wanting a side gig. They're interested in niche, low maintenance businesses under 250,000. So that's interesting. I don't normally speak to these types of, but I do know of businesses that fit in this into this niche size. And the only thing I would say about that is with these type of buyers, a business of that size, it's going to need something that is almost like intellectual property or something that's going to hook them in to where it would make sense for them to buy the business instead of starting that business themselves. So people that are, I would say retirees in this space would probably be more viable for a small business owner because they will be looking for something to do. Remote workers wanting a side gig, I don't see those as being the best option for a small business owner. Because again, why can't they just start the business themselves? For that size of a business, it may just make more sense for them to do a startup. But definitely retirees, that would be a good one for a lifestyle buyer. So first-time entrepreneurs, these are individuals stepping into business ownership for the first time, often leaving corporate jobs and seeking a career pivot. They are typically millennials or Gen Xers. I'm a Gen X. In their 30s to 50s with savings or family backing to fund their new ventures. Oh, just going back to that, I just want to say that. So in my personal experience with some of these types of buyers, they can be a mixed bag. They can be very nervous and they can get spooked very easily. So if you end up dealing with a buyer that fits this role or fits this profile, if they lean the corporate executive type, say a management consultant or somebody that's dealt with larger scale projects or contracts, or maybe they've just been an independent consultant for another company, they would probably be a little steadier in their being able to keep their emotions in. This group are really great. And I almost feel like when I deal with some of these buyers, I see the potential more for them than they see for themselves. And they can, once they're out, they won't move forward. And then they'll get spooked and they'll say, no, I'm not going to move forward. And then they'll want to come back in, and they'll usually want to come back in at such a time where the business owner has already signed a deal with somebody else. I've seen that happen several times. Okay, so let's talk about serial entrepreneurs and portfolio builders. So we have our seasoned buyers. These people have owned businesses before. They're looking to expand their holdings or diversify. So these are the people I was talking about, that they have run a business before. They're very confident. They know what they're doing. They know how to put the financing together. They know how to analyze the numbers because they've also operated. They're not doing this just on theory, and they haven't taken a course. They've actually run a business before. So if you like this type of buyer and they are interested in your business, these would be a strong buyer for you. So the target businesses for them are mid-sized businesses, 500,000 to 5 million usually in EBITDA, with growth potential such as niche manufacturing, tech startups, or multi-location franchises. I don't do franchise work myself, but I found quite a few people that did like the funeral space also within this type of buyer portfolio. Their funding sources are going to be a mix of bank loans, private equity, or cash from prior business exits. That's true also. They do like to leverage seller finance up to 50% of the deal, and revenue-based financing for flexibility. So those are some of the things that you can expect with them. That's how they'll be funding their deal. Financing approval, they get higher approval rates with up to 70% with alternative lenders due to their experience and their track record. Very true. Their challenges, they are picky about their return on the investment and scalability. Yes. Often passing on businesses without clear expansion paths. So yes, if they can't see a way that they can grow or scale the business, they will probably pass on it. That's true. And let's see this other comment here. High interest rates push them to negotiate hard on price. Yes, they do negotiate hard on price. They are, again, so these people are of a similar mindset to the business owner that they will be buying from. They just probably have scaled the business further than the business owner that they're dealing with. So they're very comfortable with the negotiations, and they know what they want. So we've got our corporate escapees with capital next. They are cash heavy on deals. Yep, that is true. Their target businesses are priced between 1 and 10 million. They seek established operations in professional services, healthcare, or tech adjacent. Investors, I'll see if I have anything. Just going back to that one, just wanted to see if there's anything else to tell you about the corporate escapees. No, I think that's good. The fact that they have cash, I think, is really beneficial. I've certainly seen some very healthy 401k balances. And like I said, people seem to be open to using those. Investors and private equity groups, preferred business characteristics for portfolio acquisition below. So we've got 85%. They like cash flow positive, 15% plus EBITDA margins. 80% established industries, logistics, HVAC, e-commerce. Yep. So 80% of these people like established industries. Yep, that's true. 75% want revenue over, may even be slightly higher. They're not going to, these people here aren't going to look at a business doing under $1 million in revenue. And so one of the things that most business brokers, and I own a business brokerage firm, most business brokers will receive emails daily from these types of people, and they will be telling them that they are looking for EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, of 500,000 to 750,000. So when we're dealing with small businesses, a lot of times we will calculate what's called SDE. So we're going all into jargon now, but SDE is seller's discretionary earnings. So it's basically EBITDA is before you add back the owner benefits. So seller's discretionary earnings for small businesses, we add back the owner salary, if they're paying their wife, if they pay for their car, if they pay for their own health insurance, but not the employees, all of that stuff gets added. But EBITDA is different. That's without all that stuff being added back. So 65% of this type of buyer are looking for consolidation opportunities. Yes. So they will pick, just like it says over here, they will pick several industries and they will target those industries so that they can consolidate, because they'll do what's called a hub and spoke model. They'll look for a platform business and then they'll want to bolt on other businesses to that. And 60% of them are looking for undervalued assets. Lifestyle buyers. So these are some profiles of our lifestyle buyers. We have a couple seeking a coastal bed and breakfast. We have a remote software engineer buying an online boutique. We have a digital nomad searching for passion-driven side gigs. So if you think about your business and where you would fit with these lifestyle buyers, I'd say many of the traditional small businesses will probably be at best for the couple, seeking a retirement project. Market dynamics, what's happening in the market? Let's talk about that. So we have is a big word, our boomer exodus. We have retiring owners are flooding the small business acquisition market, with 33% of small businesses owned by individuals aged 60 or older who are to sell soon. So these numbers, depending on you do the research, they do tend to change. I read the other day that 41% of small businesses were owned by boomers, but we can give or take. And this part here that's saying that small business owners aged 60 or older who are planning soon. So those numbers, those stats are in the next 10 to 15 years, 12 million small businesses are expected to go on the market for sale. And then the numbers, as of the last time I checked, in the US, there are just under 35 million small businesses. So boomer exodus sounds dramatic, but it could be true. Okay. So we have a tech boost. We have AI-driven platforms and matching buyers to deals faster. Yep. Leveling the playing field for first-time entrepreneurs and less experienced buyers compared to seasoned professionals. I would say so, because everything's moving so quickly now with AI. I actually, full disclosure, I was able to make this beautiful presentation with AI, and I had all the information that I wanted to put in here. I entered it and I had a PowerPoint done, I would say, in about 30 seconds, which were 2 hours. So yeah, AI and tech are definitely accelerating right now. Economic uncertainty. The NFIB Uncertainty Index hitting 100 in January 2025 is making all types of buyers more cautious, favoring cash flow positive businesses over riskier ventures. Those serial buyers and private equity groups are still willing to take bigger swings. Yes, I would say that's true, because if you think about it, one private equity person told me that they expect, 1/3 of their deals to knock out of the park, as it were, for an American saying, and 1/3 will not, be no good. They'll lose money, and then 1/3 will break even. So they do expect to be able to tolerate a lot more risk, and somebody that's looking to actually support themselves personally from this transaction. So who's winning? Okay, we've got cash-backed buyers able to close deals rapidly with down payments. Yeah, I bet if you own a business, you like the sound of that. Cash offers, especially for those businesses, are of the size that they're looking for. So that's number one. Number two is our experienced buyers, serial entrepreneurs, corporate escapees, and private equity groups leverage their industry expertise to evaluate target more effectively. Yep. And they're very efficient. So they're not going to waste your time. They're going to get to a no as quickly as they can because they want to go through the process very efficiently. Creative financing, leveraging seller financing, 6 to 8% interest on 10 to 50% of the deal, or alternative lenders to supplement traditional bank loans. So yes, people are asking for seller notes, and that would be right. You can have 6 to 8% interest. I think the ideal time frame is 5 years, but I do know of somebody that she actually has sold her business to her employees, and she put them on a 15-year loan program, and she's funding a very comfortable having done that. So we didn't talk about that. Is to think about. I know owners get scared of that. Business owners don't yet. She's done very well with it. Niche specialization. We're down at number 4 here. Lifestyle buyers and first-time entrepreneurs can overcome lack of experience by targeting unique, low-maintenance businesses under 250. And yeah, we talked about that. I mean, for a retiree couple, that would be nice. Give them something to do, and that way they have something enjoyable for their retirement. Because I know a lot of people, when they retire from their business, I know my father, he retired from his business and then he turned around and got a job. So people want something to do in retirement. And that's it. These are our summary of our sellers and our seller preference, our buyers and our buyer preferences. And thing I do want to say in closing is that, you want to think about what's important to you. I said that at the very beginning. You don't want to go all the way through a lengthy process. It may take a year to sell your business. At the end, to say, oh gosh, I just didn't have a good experience with this type of buyer. It felt too, because a private equity acquisition is going to feel very spreadsheet-ish to you. They're going to be pulling all the numbers apart. And if you sell to somebody who is looking to run the business, that might be a little bit more personalized for you. So let's go through a quick summary here. So we've got our boomer retirement wave with a third of small business owners over the age of 60 looking to exit. That's going to be a legacy play, right? You probably want to hand your business over to somebody that's going to take. We've got some economic uncertainty we're facing. We've got the financing trends to consider. We've got legacy driven owners, which would be probably, if you're watching this and you're a baby boomer, that would be you. And we've got liquidity focused owners as well. Yep. So this is interesting. So buyer seller tensions. This middle one here, I have seen this a lot. And this is the type of buyer I was talking to you about, who they'll get spooked easily. And these people, they do drag out everything just because they don't know. So indecisive buyers dragging out due diligence for months. Flaky buyers backing out of negotiations. Yeah, these are the things you want to avoid. Misaligned priorities. Owners favor legacy. Buyers seeks quick profits. Stalled transitions. Sellers dislike drawn out handovers. New owners. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes a new owner is going to want you to stay on for 6 months, but normally you'll see when a business is advertised for sale, 80 hours is offered in the transition. But that's all very negotiable. So these are all the tensions that you could come into contact with. Key takeaways. All right, so we've got a diverse buyer pool. We've got the boomer retirement wave. We've got evolving financing trends. We have some economic uncertainty. And we have preference tug of war. This one here, sellers are split between those who prioritize legacy and culture preservation, seeking buyers who will maintain the business identity, and those focused on maximizing their exit. Oops, sorry. Favoring cash-rich buyers who can close early. So that's a great point, right? Just as there are different types of buyers, there are different types of sellers. You have to decide here, which bucket do you go into? Do you just want the maximum amount of money that you can get, and you really don't mind how the business is managed, or if it goes into a corporate group, or if they keep the employees, or is that really important to you? And if it is, then you're going to need a different type of buyer so that you can negotiate in these things during the selling process. And that is it. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful. And if you would like any information on types of buyers, or if you would like some help to determine what type of buyer would be good for you, you can go ahead and just send me a message and I'll be more than happy to help you. My name's Colette Kemp. I own a business called Shorestead Business Advisors, and we help retiring business owners to find next generation buyers for their business so they can keep them locally or family owned. I appreciate you watching this presentation, and I will see you on the next one.